If there's any changes or additions,
2 appointments, I forgot to put on there, appointments to the rec board. And minutes, I forget, as usual, for some reason. Oh, no, I did put minutes on there. Usually I forget.
2
2
appointments.
appointments to the rec, they both have letters of interest.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion in a second.
How about,
She's here under public comment.
you move?
I'll move.
Okay, I'll second.
Just move here, second and motion. Add that to the agenda. Any more discussion? Have none. All those in favor of adding the discussion for 2 appointments to the rec, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. It's unanimous ayes, and that has been added. And we'll speed it right up here and go to the next item, which is the public comment section.
Yep, so I'm gonna be really quick too. So we applied for a planning grant last year, remember we went through all the gear stuff, whatever, and we got denied, we'd like to apply again. Heidi does not have the time to polish it up and submit it. So I would like to ask for some allocation from your grant line money. I'm thinking if it was 20 hours, it would be about $1,200, saying at $50 an hour. I don't know what grant writers get paid, so I'm just literally just guessing. I'm gonna try to get someone to take what's already been done, polish it up and try again. For municipal planning for the whole opera house, they come in and assess the whole thing. So that's a request, which I can circle back to, I can just cruise right along.
Okay.
Billy Joe she's got the heat and electric bill on her desk for March. I don't know what that is, but she doesn't think it's a lot. If that's the case and it's something that we can afford, we're gonna be meeting shortly, start programming 2024. And we'd like to budget on our end, events in January, February, March, in which we would pay that increase. So barring me falling over when I see that bill, I think we can afford, a few events in January, February, March. You guys have had us close because of that expense. We're saying we'll take that expense on. Nothing changes for us, all our insurance and everything is 12 months, and as is yours, so. Would like some feedback on that, possibly a motion. And then the sprinkler guy came today and worked on a seal. And we have to have the dry sprinkler heads inspected. In doing that, they remove 2 sprinkler heads. They put something else on and they run some tests. If worst scenario, we fail the tests, then they have to replace those dry head sprinklers, and they're about $150 each. I think he said there's like 23, but then the tricky part is anywhere where the pipe down to the sprinkler head goes past 12 inches, it's a quarter an inch. I'm getting into the weeds, but if we had to replace all the dry sprinkler heads, it could be up to $6,000. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Because we haven't had the inspection yet, but at some point he needs to do that. And then he also said that if it ever got to doing, I can't remember all of that, he's letting us slide on something because we have an active fire alarm system. But if we did major work and needed to replace anything in the main part component, there's some things he would have to do to bring us up to a current code situation. So just throwing that out there, he said you probably should think about each year putting a little money aside to these to the sprinkler system and preparing for the company that did it. It's 23 plus years old, 24 years old. They're not making parts anymore. He's got what he needs, but he kind of voiced that part situation the last time I think I mentioned that. So just kind of a heads up on that. I'm not gonna worry about something we don't know about. And then I wanted to ask about the insurance grant where we put in for reimbursement on the.
I met with him a couple of weeks ago up here, he's gonna check on that.
The insurance guy?
Yeah, he was here and we did some walkarounds and
Okay.
playground stuff, so I'll email them again.
If you can follow up on that, that would bring some money back into the line, we'd love to have it. It was a couple thousand, right? 1,200 maybe, whatever, we'll take
Yeah, it's a
anything.
couple thousand, I wanna say it was
Um,
1,900.
okay, so just checking on that, and then the other thing was the energy efficient grant. That was
Yeah,
gonna
that
apply to all municipal buildings.
Yeah, that just, so there was an initial 4,000, I can't remember what it was, I got it all on my desk, that's my next item up. That there's an initial, I can't remember, if you come in, I can tell you, it's 4,000 or 5,000, to do an assessment of all the buildings.
We got it, you mean?
No,
Oh.
they just opened the applications up.
Okay.
It's 4,000 or 5,000, to go towards the assessment. They'll come around, look at all the municipal buildings, look at, and then they'll determine what needs you have, basically,
Okay.
they'll look at.
What
like,
rises to the top?
Right, yeah, what's the most concern,
Okay.
basically.
I didn't know that it wasn't
Yeah.
decided yet, so
It
that
it
was.
just barely opened, because this, I think it's all in like, all of the work is in 2024 and 25, or it just barely opened, so.
Okay,
Just that needs assessment
right,
portion of
right,
it,
not,
so.
yeah, like,
Not the big one.
tee us up though if we ever, yeah.
Yep.
So I'm gonna swing back to,
Go ahead.
programming in the winter. If we're gonna cover those added expenses, if that works for people. And if so, could we entertain a motion so it's on the record? in the
I wanna see the
minutes?
bills.
Yeah, I need to show you those, like, you know, like what you're going to get,
Yeah.
they need to see it too, cause yours is times one day, and they're gonna need to think of it as times multiple days.
Because-
We would be paying that.
Yeah,
No, I
but,
know.
yeah, but still, I mean, that's at 30 days, so. I wanna look at it.
Do you know how much it was for the event?
No, I have them on my desk.
Yeah.
But that was just for one day, and she's asking to open up.
January,
So
February,
what I'm
March.
asking
Couple
for is, we've got a couple years history on it not being active. And, barring the increase in just the baseline, say it was 200 and the baseline today is 220 because of increases in their fees, barring that, any added usage expense, we would cover. Because
How long did you have to turn it on to get it ready for?
I think it's probably on for 2 days
Yeah.
preparation that day.
Yeah.
It was March, I don't even really remember the weather, but.
Yeah.
And if the bills come in at the end of the month, we could, I don't know what we're gonna prepare, but we just think we have canceled having, straight concerts in the summer, because there's so many free concerts. Put that together in the winter when everybody's housebound, and there's no parks to go to for outdoor concerts and stuff, we think we could get better participation for people in the winter months when they're bored, than in the summer, because we're all buying for everybody in the summer, so. If we could look at that at the next meeting, because we're hoping that the crew that's doing programming is gonna start trying to build out 2024, we're trying to finally get ahead so we can promote it. So that can go on next one, if that's what you need. What could come up here that would cause you to say no if we're saying we're gonna pay the bill?
I just wanna see them, that's why I don't wanna
Okay,
move to get a motion, cause it's like, wait a minute, let's take a look at it first.
okay,
Next meeting is the 21st.
21st of
I will not
August.
be here on that day.
You wanna change it?
That's what I was gonna bring up tonight, if we're meeting on that week, cause I'm gone the week of the 20th,
You wanna do the 14th, week of the 14th?
14th would work for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna have head cold.
You're gonna have head cold?
August 14th, okay, so we'll put that one on pause, and then the other one is, if I could have, permission to spend up to, obviously not more than it actually costs. I just took a guess based on Heidi's recommendation, about 20 hours to access that grant line that I don't know if anybody's accessed yet, so we'd love to access that to help us get a grant on municipal planning for the Opera House. Like I said, the bulk of it's all done, basically it's bringing it up to speed for another year Maybe she has to get new letters of support, I don't know. And it helps, I'm saying Elizabeth knows nothing about this, I haven't asked her yet. But somebody who's familiar with the GEARS program, which Polly is very familiar with, that could just jump in and do it.
You're thinking of having Elizabeth do it, or
That's gonna be my first ask,
Yeah.
that somebody who's grant writing experience and somebody who's experienced with GEARS. Heidi just does not have the time, she's got a new job with Swanton to do that, although I think she did the heavy lift from start to inputting it one time and then get denied. And you just gotta keep putting in for these things, be the greasy wheel to get
How much we got in that line?
that approval.
How much do we have? I think it's 15.
15.
so what would that grant cover, Susie?
It comes in and it does an assessment of the whole building. What you need to be looking at now, what do you need to be looking at in 5 years? But the bigger thing that it does is because we'll have that information in some rough numbers, it puts us kind of like ready for a big grant to fund one of those steps because we've already got that information versus, you know, trying to get someone else in there giving you estimates and ideas. So it tees us up for whatever other grants come down the line and what we need to do. And then top it with the energy efficiency grant that's going on for municipal buildings. We should have a really good idea of what we need to be planning for in the future.
So you're estimating, you said, thought maybe 20 hours?
20 hours, I don't know, like, you guys might know better what a grant writer costs.
I don't think it would take them by 20 hours, but that's a good estimate to go by, but
It would be that or less.
definitely.
And certainly,
Because it's already done, like you said, it's polishing.
yeah, I really don't think she's
Yeah, but
really thinking it through.
Should be
Change the
a
dates.
kind of a dollar value because I don't
I
know,
would say 1,000 or less.
and I was thinking,
Okay,
because if you're even $30 an hour, that's $600.
well, I think, I don't know.
20
For
hours.
grant writers, I know more than $30 an hour, okay?
But
I
if
don't
you
know.
want
Even if you did
750.
50 at 20.
I think I did 50 at 20, is what I did, yeah.
Maybe when you're talking to her, she'll have information on other grants.
Maybe, but that's what the line is for, so I'd
Yeah.
like to use it and try to get some things still rolling on that building. It's always gonna need something, just wanna keep on top of the grant money.
I'll entertain a motion to provide that money for that grant.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to delegate the money or provide the money for the grant writer for the
Up to
Opera House.
1,000.
Up to 1,000.
That's great.
I'll second.
Dee made the motion, just second the motion to allow grant money to the Opera House up to $1,000 for grant. Any more discussion? From having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed say nay. Unanimous ayes, granted.
Thank you very much, and I'll revisit on the 14th about computer programming, and then when everybody has time at some point, and I haven't forgotten the MOU, none of us have had time to sit down and do that, but maybe when there's a lull before you get into budgeting, we could dedicate some meeting time as a board to talk about the MOU.
So the roof discussion,
We got the insurance adjusted, so it's back up
okay.
to what he had originally
I
done.
saw some of
That's
the
in
email.
one, there is a signature that's required tonight in your file and sign.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and he's got us like penciled in the fall, and he knows, I told him we're good to go. We got it adjusted, and so we're on his list
okay,
to get it done.
super.
Is it, who's doing it, Susie?
It's
Jim?
Abbott Tanner, Abbott.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good.
I think that's it.
Okay,
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Susie.
Have a good night.
Golf tournament. Golf tournament on the 28th. You wanna come up and bid on silent auction items or
Okay.
whatever for the Opera House. We've got our teams in, Dean's playing, but there's gonna be a lot of fun. There's gonna be silent auction. Come on up and join if you'd like, so. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Alright, next on the agenda is Garrett, the ambulance director. Hmm?
Yes.
No, we're not.
Oh, no. So we'll have the next one. That is so burning.
Try to
Put me right to shame.
You got a big packet.
Yeah, this week's a good pack. All right, so a few things to go over tonight. First thing I wanted to go over was some employees, some emails I've received that I've attached to your packet here. The first one is from an employee who's still on our roster but has reached out and asked to be resigned from the ambulance service. I did reach out back to him and notify him that I would meet with you guys tonight.
No, that's why he's saying it.
Oh,
We're just-
okay.
We're looking
I'm just
at it and
checking.
we're not saying anything.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
This is really going
okay, gotcha.
So basically, I just have to get permission from you guys
Accept it.
to accept his resignation. Yeah.
I'll move.
Second it.
Peter made a motion, Dean seconded the motion to accept the resignation. This ambulance member. Any more discussion? We have none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Alright.
All those opposed?
But at the same time, follow up with getting back all of our equipment.
I incorporated that in my
He
email.
did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw.
And I forgot a letter in town, so that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I incorporated, make sure any keys, radios, pagers, anything that the ambulance service owns to be returned. So I will send him our,
I don't think
Letter
we have
of
much
resignation.
issues.
I don't think so either, just to make
He
sure.
was,
Will that create much of a hole in your scheduling?
No. Since I've been here, he hasn't worked.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Alright, so back to, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Resignation has been accepted.
Perfect. The second one is another individual who is requesting a leave of absence from July until December 1st. He's in the process of building a house and needs that time period to try and get his house finished before winter hits. So he has requested to be on a leave of absence until December 1st, at which time he'd like to return as a part-time employee.
I'll move.
He's per diem.
Correct. Yeah.
I'll second.
Peter made a motion, Jess second motion to allow requested leave. Any more discussion? If have none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Unanimous ayes. That's been approved.
Perfect. And then last employee one, this is one I just need to bring in to you guys. This person is seeking per diem employment. From what I've been told, there's been kind of a rough history
Very
that I want to make sure with you guys
Very.
before I respond.
rough. Death, brand, auto, history.
Okay.
So, up to you
Yeah.
guys. I can return and say,
Central page for Enosburgh Town Selectboard. 93 Pleasant View Drive for a 66-year-old male.
I can't.
High fever of 102.7, shaking, confused, unresponsive, is breathing. Central pretty much page for Enosburgh ambulance. Please respond. 93
It's an
Pleasant View
executive.
Drive for a 66-year-old male. High fever, shaking, unresponsive, is breathing. Central Command by 1824.
Maybe we need to discuss it and get back to Andrew, or not.
Or maybe
Yeah.
executive even.
yep, that's an option too. Yep.
That's what I'm hearing. If we want to go into executive session on this issue,
Okay.
I need a motion to do so.
I'll make a motion to go in executive for this employee request.
Jess made a motion to go into executive. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Dean, second on it. Any more discussion? Having none, all those in favor of going executive session for employment issue, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Unanimous, ayes have it, and we're going executive approximately 6:30. Alright, so action for executive session is, no?
Let me just word it really fancy, like.
Yeah. Alright, next?
Next item is ambulance inspections. I don't remember if I updated you guys the last time we met, but the state came in and did a pop-up ambulance inspection on both trucks. Both trucks passed. And I've also finished the service license renewal. That is submitted. So the next thing is the district will vote on passing everybody's service license renewals. And then it will go to the state as of September 1st. So we are caught up in that respect to getting the ambulances inspected and the service up to its new license. So that is done. And then the last item, I've received an official quote from Northeastern for the cost of a ambulance remount. So in this, I've summarized some notes, and I'll kind of go through things with you here. But to start, so I looked into what the cost would be for the different size chassis and comparing between a gas and a diesel. The cheapest, most effective option currently is going with what we already have, which is the Ford F-350 diesel. The primary reason behind that, it's a little cheaper than going with a larger model diesel, and the module that we have is set up for that style chassis. So the cost of the gas chassis is a little cheaper than the diesel, but the modifications they would have to do to make the module fit.
I'm not sure Larry was here when you came in to talk about a rig now, so
Gotcha.
so he may need to have you refreshed.
I'll catch you
I
up.
think I'm seeing the look on his
Well,
face.
what I'm seeing is, why weren't these the prices when we bought a new one
Exactly.
for the other one? Cause it was double this, more than double this.
So the reason, so yes, last meeting I presented the idea of doing a remount as opposed to doing a brand new ambulance purchase.
Because
And
the timeout is 2 to 3 years.
yes, that's why we're looking into it now, is because the wait time period is 2 to
For
3
new
years.
ambulance is 2 to 3
Or to
years.
rebound.
To
Oh,
remount
to remount.
to new
It's still
is
2 to
even
3.
longer, yes. So that's why I'm looking on it now, is to get us on the list. By that time period, the 2017 will have a little over 200,000 miles on it.
And they would honor this price if we did something up front, or?
It will be within that range because it'll be a 2025. This is the price they've quoted us right now, and actually you'll see the official price on the actual quote, which will be the next page, yep. So that will be the cost of, it'll be page 3.
So the price is much more significant than what's here because you're paying for the work as well, correct?
Correct, yes. So essentially what they do with the remount, they pull the module off, they strip everything down on it, all including the paint, all the seats, all the electrical, all the hosing, everything comes out of it and gets renewed. So if you go kind of line item by line item on the next page, this is everything broken down. So the cost of pulling the current module off of the chassis, stripping everything down, is $58,000. The cost of the chassis, F-350 diesel, is $69,000. Trade-in value, which is something we need to talk about, they negotiated a trade-in of $2,000. The deal with the trade-in, if we decide that we don't want to trade the vehicle in and we would rather take the vehicle back and sell it, they don't return the vehicle to us, so we would have to send somebody to go get it.
So they
And then
only bid for
return it.
2,000 to return.
Correct. That's the trade-in value.
Seems very good.
Oh, yeah, that's, it all is with this
Yeah.
company.
Very
Yeah.
little.
So there's a decision.
Where is it, in New York, Syracuse?
Syracuse, yep. Yep, exactly. So, yeah, so just some notes. It's a 1.5 to 2 year wait period on remounting an ambulance. During the remount process, it's 60 to 90 days for them to take the module off, strip it down, put all of the specs that we want into it. During that time period, I did ask if we could use a loaner ambulance while they have our Unit 2. How it works is they charge you $1, which is the purchase of the loaner ambulance. We would have to pay for the insurance, the maintenance, and the licensure of the vehicle. But once that loaner period is over, they take the loaner back with them. We get our new remounted ambulance. Warranty-wise, it comes with the standard Ford chassis warranty. The Braun module is a lifetime warranty. And the way the purchase works, it's a single check due at the time of ambulance delivery.
Delivery back to us or to them?
If we do a trade-in, back to us. Well, actually, regardless, it's back to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to our doorway.
Yeah, exactly. Just if we want the old chassis, we have to go get it.
So it's very like you're customizing basically.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
And I did inquire about looking into a chassis for other dealerships to see if that's something we could do. And I was pretty shied away from that option, primarily because a lot of services apparently have this issue where they buy a chassis from a dealership who's not affiliated with an ambulance service or anything, and it causes issues with modifying that chassis. And so I was told that it could hold up the time period we would get the chassis and the module back if everything they need isn't there. So that's the price of the module remount. Price of the chassis is $69,304, give or take, depending on that time period, 2 years from now. And this also incorporates the liquid spring suspension, which is $14,525. And that's all the same. There's nothing new with that. The Easy O2 lift, that was the other thing that we added, and that was $3,173. The other thing that he mentioned is the heat air conditioning system that we use, so the heat AC conditioning system. So the current system we have is Pro Air system. Pro Air is out of business. They no longer produce Pro Air, they no longer produce parts to Pro Air. So it's fine to take the system we have now and input it into the new module, or the reconditioned module, but down the road, if something goes wrong with that system, I was told it would be difficult to get parts for it. So they quoted us a price to put in a new AC heat system, which would be $3,000.
So, if you go on the page after contract quote 186,
Yep.
you got 142. Is that the chassis and that to come up to 186?
Yes, with everything included. Yep, the final price is $186.
So, I guess the question to ask is, what's the new one cost and what's the trade-in value of this at that time?
Glad you asked that.
It was 204, 5 or something?
So,
I'm
on
sure
the
they're going down.
agenda, so I've shown you kind of the price of each one that I was quoted for. So if we were to purchase, the remount is $186,488
Front page.
on the
Of this
agenda.
pack.
Oh,
Keep going.
yeah.
There you go. So yes, the trade-in, $186,000. The purchase of a brand new 2025 F350 Braun is $300,000. To purchase a new Crest line like the 2022, that's $215,000.
Doesn't even make
This
sense.
is not making any sense.
You'd be better off to buy brand new.
I know, but these prices don't make any
But
sense.
that doesn't include graphics or performance though.
So
So
the remount price and the brand new price are the same? Did he get his numbers?
The remount price is $186,000. The brand new Crest line
Well, I
price is
mean, within-
$215,000.
That's right, 15,000.
Crest lines are a little bit of a cheaper model than bronze, that's why.
Isn't that what we got this?
How much is the performance though? Cause graphics was 4,000. You said
So,
it's not included, so I was just
Correct.
wondering how much that would make
Yep.
up for price.
and actually, he said he's available tonight, so I can call him and if you guys want, if we want to talk to him, we can.
Oh, I was just curious. I didn't know if it was
He didn't
like
tell me
10,000.
exactly. He just wanted to make sure I was clear it doesn't.
Our newest
Oh,
one's a
okay.
Crest line.
Yes.
So,
How does the crest line work for you guys compared to the Braun? Any difference?
I would say it's taller.
The crest line?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's taller. Structurally wise, I would say the Braun's better structurally. Brauns are kind of known for that. They're both ambulances. It depends how long of a life you want to get out of them.
Right.
Bronze, you typically can remount 2 to 3 times down the road. Crest lines typically aren't known for being remounted. It's one of those, once you purchase it, you use it for a 10-year period, depending on where you live and conditions, and then it's scrapped from that time period. So that's why I was looking into this remount, was to kind of save us as much as we can. for that.
Yeah, we'd always had hopes of doing that at some point.
That's the sales of our very first one. We were told, oh yeah, it'd be a lot cheaper.
It's expensive. And if this is something we want to look over, not make a decision on it tonight, I'm fine with that.
Well, it is a lot to absorb, so maybe
Yes.
Yeah.
we can come back the next meeting if
Yep.
we have decided it's going to be 14.
Yep, and that's totally fine.
That doesn't affect the price or ordering timeline. This
It's got to be 2 years out, regardless of when.
another month doesn't matter.
Theoretically, it should.
So what are the drawbacks though? I mean, like, there's gotta be some, because it's cheaper, like, is there any negatives or
But
negative cons?
you have the same old box.
Oh, okay, so you're just getting everything else.
So the one like you have.
Yeah, you take the box off and put
Oh, okay.
a truck underneath it and stuff, but you still get the old box.
Which is okay.
So for, 20,000 more, you got everything new. You could get a new crest line for $215, everything's new. Plus you get a trade,
a better,
you could trade or sell the ambulance outright. If it's in good shape, there's gonna be a need for it. If they're 2 years out everywhere, somebody's gonna be short. So, I don't know, that's just my personal thinking, but these numbers are wow.
That's the cost of fire engines or even.
Oh my gosh.
You don't want to know how much a
I
fire
think
truck
it'd be good
costs.
to know what the performance load means. Is that like 40,000 or is it like 5,000? Like what that, you know what I
I
mean?
can find
Because
out.
otherwise maybe
Yeah.
it wouldn't be just a $20,000 difference.
This one's gas that we get, right?
What's
So
that?
these are all gas that we have.
No, they're
No,
all
diesel.
diesels.
They get that for,
Yeah.
Yep, they're all diesels.
Oh, expensive.
Where does he get those? Yeah.
Yes.
so where are you getting the DEF
Napa. We have an account set up with them.
Well, yeah, Napa and
We have
Joe
an account with Valleys and stuff.
or Valleys, yeah.
So from what I understand, you guys were comparing the same thing when you purchased the 2022. You're looking into doing a remount of the 2013 and comparing the price of the 2022. So from what I was told, the reason that remount supposedly was so comparable to the crest line, was because the safety features that were in that 2013 were not up to today's standards. So basically, from what I was again told,
That's what we were told too.
yeah, all the seatbelts had to be re-welded. Yeah, that's what I was informed.
They told us.
So the one with the remount, does that have the performance load and everything
Yes.
on it?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Interior-wise, there's nothing that they need to change, and that's what saved us a little bit. We looked through the entire interior. The floor doesn't need to be stripped. The upholstery's in good shape. The only thing changing in the interior would be the lights changed to LED lights.
And that's kind of where I'm thinking of going new again. You're gonna have an out-of-date box, or you're gonna have to add things in that box as they change things over time, probably. Or the new one should be good for the 5-7 years.
I'm looking to put these on like an 8-year rotation. That's what we're averaging. Each ambulance averages about 30,000 miles a year.
They must have 0% financing too.
Today's interest rates, probably.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah, I know I need a minute to absorb this.
absolutely. It's a lot to
It's
absorb.
good that you're thinking ahead though, because
Yeah.
last time when we were kind of in a pickle.
It used to be in the day, you
We
could
don't wanna have to.
purchase an ambulance and then you'd have it in 3 to 6 months. Now it's 2 years. 2 years.
No grants for,
That's one thing that we can,
You can look
because
into
we
it.
have a little bit of time, that's also a good thing of looking ahead.
Right.
Because if it's ordered, then we have to take we have those 2 years to try to finalize that.
the other thing I'd think about is how complicated is it to switch these boxes? $100,000 probably you could get somebody to do a lot cheaper. Maybe?
I think it has to be done by the company
It
because
has
of
to
the
be done by a
certification. Yeah.
Braun rep. So Northeastern is the Braun rep for our area. That's why we
It
have
has to be switched by them
by a Braun service.
to get the warranty or to just have it certified to be in service.
To get it warranted. And are you thinking like having like a Charlie Boys or somebody change it over?
Yeah.
So in that retrospect, they would basically take the chassis, the module as it is, switch it over to a new chassis, but they wouldn't strip the paint, they wouldn't update the electrical, they wouldn't change the air system, air and heat system. That's my only concern with sending it to a non-ambulance service.
That's a good point though.
Right.
You know, probably the only downfall of that is you're not gonna, you probably wouldn't, I don't know if they would do a loaner still under that. So,
Yeah. True.
And you did say, just for mental note, that the Braun is like a more decent overall.
It's a higher end.
It's a higher end. Sure. Yeah.
Just curious. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for putting that together.
Yes.
Yeah.
We can
Do
talk
you
about
have
it
a
next
certain
time.
date you need to?
No,
Was the only good person on the time here?
not that he said. He did not put a date on the quote. So I will just update him and let him know that we're going to table it to the next meeting and make a decision from now. And I'll see if I can find out more info about how much the performance load and graphics would be.
Just curious, you know.
Yeah.
the-
Might as well.
yeah, just ask them too about, like what Dean was saying, if somebody else was to convert the chassis and stuff, is there still an ambulance loaner at that, in a program like that or not?
Okay.
That'll change the decision, cause it'll be, it's gonna take some time for that to be done.
Right. Do you want me to get an official quote on a new Crestline?
This
So we
isn't,
know exactly. That, it's not an official quote like you have with the remount, because it doesn't include the graphics and performance load. But I can get an official quote like we have with the remount, if you want to be interested in it.
See what they'd give you for a trade-in for this one intact, if we did
The-
Oh, yeah.
buy the new Crestline.
Oh, see what they would give. Yeah,
Yeah. More
Yeah,
than 2,000
maybe.
with it all intact, you know.
definitely possible.
No.
You never know. I can do that.
okay,
Alright, thank you.
You got it.
Is there anything else in
I think that's all I have
Okay.
for tonight. All right, thank you guys. That's all I have for
Take
tonight.
care.
Yes, thanks, Garrett.
alright, next on the agenda is Shauna Lovelock.
I can come through this more.
You can.
All yours.
I can't remember what I gave you or told you about why it was coming.
I believe you said it was Dairy Center Field.
Okay. Yes, so, I don't know if any of you have seen the fields at all, but the foundation paid to have Jocelyn Sports Turf, who is, I believe is the same person who does the field maintenance here at the rec field, go in and completely redo the fields. So the softball field is now a skin field.
Oh, wow.
Is that the Dairy Center?
Yeah, It's great. It's
Plus, it barely happened the last few days.
no,
I think the weeds
no, it
have
happened
grown
this
since.
spring. Well, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
so there's growth on it.
yeah,
Okay.
and that happens at any field. If you go look at
Okay.
the high school field. That was after he finished it, and then they redid the baseball field as well. So, they invested with the dirt and everything probably somewhere between $10,000 to $12,000. And so, what I'm hoping is that you really can't rely on people that don't volunteers for one thing, but people that don't have equipment, don't have the knowledge to maintain the fields. So I'm hoping that between the school and the town that you might consider sharing the cost to do that on an annual basis. Basically in the fall, he would come in, edge the fields, remove all the weeds on the fields, fix the mound, fix the plate, and add conditioner to the field. So the conditioner, what that does is that when it rains or it absorbs moisture. So I have a copy of the estimate. That's the estimate he gave me. Now this year it might be a little bit less because he had he was kind of rushing a little bit on the baseball field to get it ready for play. And he had offered to come in and do some work on that. So I asked him to tell me what this year's estimate would be, but that's more of an annual estimate. So this year, Little League, from Enosburgh, we had 84 players. There were 429 players in the whole league. They had 2 minor teams, a major and a minor boys, 2 machine pitch and 2 T-ball teams. So machine pitch and T-ball use this field here, but the minor and the majors use those fields at the Dairy Center. So it was really nice. They haven't been able to use them for the last couple of years. Lease also invested money in drainage last year, so they haven't had the issue with the fields being so wet. Phil mows,
Even with all the water that we caught the last.
well, I mean, I haven't been down there
Then that-
recently, but during the season, and Phil knows, so he could probably attest to like the condition and how it's been. The other thing about having the field skinned is that we only have one field at the high school. So you have junior high, JV, and varsity that share that field. So now that this field at the Dairy Center is skinned, we can, like the varsity team practice there. The junior high team can practice there, the JV, because once games start, you have a 4:30 game, you maybe have 30 to 40 minutes of field time to practice, and then you kind of basically have to go do something else. So that really is an asset, and that's kind of my argument hopefully to the school too, that those teams are gonna be able to utilize that as well. We're going to donate some money to the Little League to get a batting cage back there again, so that will make the field even more useful. So that's my request to see. I'm going to go to the school board.
So a few years ago, they stopped paying for
Anything,
rental,
right?
anything, the rental of the fields. We used to split it. They stopped doing it, so we've been picking up.
So what does,
Everything.
I'm not familiar with that. What does Lise charge? Or does she charge?
Charges
the
$1,050 for each of us, so now we're picking up the $2,100 total,
mowing? Okay.
the rec is. And we pay, I believe, $4,000 a season for mowing.
So maybe I can get the school to take care of that other.
If you could get them to
$1,050.
take, to pay for some of this or for that, because they did stop.
I mean, in
Which
my
I understand.
opinion, I understand they're private fields. They're not town-owned fields, and so it. I'm probably talking myself out of this, but it might be kind of hard to justify, like the town and the school helping to maintain the fields. But those really are, other than the rec field, there's no other softball fields for the kids to use. So. Lease doesn't charge, the Little League pays for the portalet. Lease doesn't charge the Little League to use the field. So anyway, that's my ask, is to see, I'm
Can I
gonna,
take this?
yes, I have a copy. I'm gonna, go to the school board as well. I don't know if I'm actually gonna be able to get in front of them like this, because I was told they don't really put the public on the agenda, which I don't get it, but, so I guess I'll send my request to Morgan, first with, you know, this, and to let him know that I come to see you guys, and I want this to be an item in there.
Now, the thing is that amount combined?
That's for both fields.
Both the Dairy
No.
Center fields.
Right,
Yes.
but
I think he's asking total price, or is that half the price?
is that,
No, that's total price. Yeah.
okay, as
yeah.
long as we're,
Yes, no,
Yes.
that's,
First-
But this
We-
isn't
we-
for these fields. This is,
This
these
is
fields
for
here
the
at this
dairy
station
center.
are separate than this one.
Yeah.
What do they charge for these? Do you remember, Shauna? Or?
Those
don't.
are $2,500.
Yeah.
That's kind
Which makes sense
of, yeah, because it's 55.
Yeah.
He's doing, yeah. This is an option.
And again, like I said, I was hoping, I had asked him, I was hoping I could get the number from him for what it would cost this fall, because he sounded in our correspondence like he was going to kind of chip in some of the, for the baseball, because he felt like he wanted to do that, so. So I'm trying to get a different number, but this is kind of, you know, like an annual budget.
So you'll let me know if you hear back from the school, and then you can.
Yeah, I don't know how that process is gonna go.
During the summer, you.
Would it?
You should, yeah, you should check on that, public,
I think I
every
can go for
meeting.
public comment,
Oh, you're talking about to
but I
actually
was
be on
wanting
the
to be
agenda.
like, yeah, like,
Okay, gotcha.
you know, but yeah, I will do that, but I'm gonna send Morgan all the information, let him know that I came here, and so forth, and, ask them to,
Cause this is something you want him doing this fall, just a couple months from now.
yeah, no, for sure, it definitely, you know, ideally should be done. I know, Lisa emailed me, she was wanting to know if we had, she had somebody out there picking the weeds by hand, so, yeah.
It's great to have a company that, like, that's their.
Well, that's the thing,
Yeah.
you know,
Could
we
you ship
actually,
around
you know, the Little League, not, I don't wanna say did damage, but it's never a good idea to go in and rototill the fields. I mean, that's kind of what we did, cause it was so overgrown, but, cause it just like you know, it reseeds it basically, and so, yeah, so,
They look good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I'm not gonna lie, it was like Christmas. I was super excited. That was like the one thing, like, when I got done with Little League, like I wanted to see that happen, cause we hadn't used the fields for really 2 years. You know, COVID didn't help, cause nobody was using them. Yeah, so yeah, that's that. So, for me, I'll go to send them the information, maybe I'll CC you on the email.
Would it be helpful if the school knows what we already pay for these fields for the mowing?
Yeah, and
And,
I wrote that down.
Send that over.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that would be good, any ammunition stuff right there, but any, information that would be helpful, to kind of paint a good picture.
And then how much we contribute with the mowings.
Mhm.
And when Little League is the, programs too.
Yeah. Just so the school doesn't think we're pushing
Oh, yeah,
that
no,
total
for sure,
expense.
yeah, no, to paint an accurate picture of what it really looks like is important, so.
Because, basically, the seasons are done, but the mowing's still going, so
Yeah.
people are still going out there to play, so it's benefiting.
Yes.
Well, and that, part of the reason, that we're helping, Little League get the cage back out there is because it just makes it more useful, like for the high school teams and the junior high to have a cage out there, there's electricity out there, so they can use, and plus, for like, the district all-star teams, they like to use the high school field because they have a cage. So it just, in order to make it even more usable, having a cage out there, and so I think,
It's probably safer with a cage too, for their
I mean, it's just, yeah, I mean, you're not gonna have, you would have a coach that's coaching, most of the time anyway. We would do some live coaching,
Don't
So, yeah.
chase the ball so far.
Right.
but. Yeah. Definitely, it definitely makes it even more usable, so.
Awesome.
Okay, so I will email you tomorrow and you can update me. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
Do you have any idea? It depends what the school says. We'll kind of go from there as far as your decision making.
I think,
Have you talked to Margot about it at all? Does she know?
I haven't talked to Margo.
Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, no,
I'll
absolutely.
see you tomorrow.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
we can look at the rec budget too to see if there's any extra in there.
There's some wiggle room in there for sure, for some stuff that we want.
I know it's bad timing because it's obviously
But if we could
something.
plan on it budget time.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
All right, next on the agenda is Bethany Rimmers. The salt shed.
Just to warn you, you are getting the bottom of the barrel of me.
Flooding has not helped her job situation.
No, not at all.
How are you guys?
So,
Well, thank you. Yeah, I just had an insurance guy to go look at what's up with my flooded fields in Jeff, and the fields are flooded again today.
yep, and tomorrow, be on
It's
the
like,
lookout as well, and
It's like, I couldn't believe it watching the news this morning, a town in Addison, I didn't get hit the first round, it was like, yeah, everybody's getting their fair share.
Down through,
Well, Hardwick?
no, the other side there, where we always take motorcycles down, and that's all flooded now. They do not rain there, but
so I mentioned that only because I've been pulled into the state.
The red folder.
State response stuff, looking at the State Emergency Operations Center, so I've been trying to monitor email when I can, but definitely.
Where do you have to go for that, Becky?
Sometimes it's Berlin and sometimes it's for at home. So it's, that is been much better. But it's been a while since, we've met, and I do have 2 definitive action items for the board, and then a few more information on what we've learned so far about where the project goes from here, and what are the next steps. So the one concrete item, and Billy Joe, this is the letter that you sent out.
That's the email she sent, and then below is the letter that she forwarded that Stantec helped write that you would want to sign to.
So it has taken, you made, it's been a couple of weeks now since you made the formal motion to stop construction for the 2023 season. It's taken a while to figure out, okay, well, what do we do now? Because this doesn't happen a lot. So, but where things stand is that the town must send a letter to Millbrook stating that you are ending their contract. We have to give them 15 days once that's sent certified. But as I explained in the email, they have, they've been under this, indefinite work stoppage order. So it's not like they're gonna be working up till that August 2nd. But just following the letter of the law, we do need the 15 days for them. Wrapping up with them, this is what we know. Stantec was scheduled to go on site on Friday to look at any materials that they had purchased for this project and any walls that are constructed.
Pratt's, the Millbrook site.
The Millbrook site, I'm sorry if I said something completely different.
No, I just,
So went to their business in Colchester. We got some photos, and I was definitely underwhelmed, which is good, about the number of lumber and the state of these so-called walls. So we had photos sent about that, but Stantec, John Little, was going to actually meet with Dave, and that was scheduled for Friday, to just actually start to measure that. Where we understand the process going next is that the Millbrook would need to, according to the contract and according to the bid items, you know, do a pay requisition of what they think that they are owed, you know, and that's all spelled out based on what's in the contract. Once that's received by Stantec, you know, Stantec will verify the numbers and then, you know, submit for payment to the town.
You want to see the pictures that she sent over to me?
Yeah, oh, thank you for,
Just those two.
No, I think there's three. Oh,
so we are not gonna fill up the armory with a bunch of lumber. That's what you were worried
Yeah,
about.
that's
Thank you.
There could be,
Are those are the walls?
I think there's one stack that might be some wall
Oh,
panels.
so there's no actual walls, like constructed, like
Those
there's nothing
square
actually.
ones are probably, yeah. just
Yeah, I saw one in the
Okay,
corner.
so nothing like
Quick
every.
Throw them together and
yeah.
butt them, but you can use that somewhere. Or she puts.
So the town will, you know, based on that, and John Little will get you actual quantities and dimensions, you know, that will be some, you know, you're gonna be billed for those materials, and the town will have to make a
Once we-
decision
Motion.
is
I think we're.
if you want those and, you know, what you're gonna do to get that material. The other, there have been some emails that Millbrook might have ordered some electrical stuff way back. But we're not quite sure where that's at. So, you know, and that bill will, you know, that pay requisition will have to follow what's in the contract and what's in the pay specs. It doesn't get into lost profits or anything like that. So that is what we see as that next step. Having Millbrook, you know, preparing in writing what they think they should be paid based on the contract. And then the town will have something to react to. Other action items, well, one easy one is I have a contract amendment from Stantec for not additional funds, but clarifies that their scope of work is changing and that they're using their existing contract to, you know, work with the town to verify these remaining quantities and anything else needed for closing out the grant. So I do have, Stantec has, I'm sorry, this went out on Friday and I didn't forward it along, but there is if it's agreeable to you, a place for Larry to sign. And again, that's not adding additional funds, but using the existing budget. Joey, would you like to talk about your pit and what's next steps about that?
Yeah, we need to. I think once now we know what direction we're headed for.
So,
So Stantec, I got a question about Stantec. They, obviously their scope of work has changed, their amount of work is gonna change along with that, so it won't be the full contract that will roll then.
no, the contract that the town has with them is for time and materials up to a maximum. So it's when they do time, they bill their time.
Which they've already done some, and we've paid.
Oh, yes, done some, and we
And
just got
another
a
one
invoice.
came today, which is in the file of those.
I wouldn't anticipate there being a lot more, right? Once they're done with this little process with Millbrook.
This should be the last process. I do say that we've got a $7,000 bill that came in on Friday, or came in today. Did you see that yet?
From Stantec.
Stantec, yeah.
The one that you sent over this afternoon is in the file
Okay,
of those two pages.
so there's that, and then we'll have some more time.
But should come way short of the 77,000 the original.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully.
So, so the town now has a pit, and if anyone watches Parks and Recreation, I feel like
I've never seen that.
cheerleading, well, yeah. episode one.
now.
So the question has been, one question was, does Millbrook have to be hired to fill in the hole? The answer we've gotten from that is that no, I mean, Millbrook's under no obligation to fill the hole. So I don't know if Joey, if you have given some thought on that or and have a recommendation to the board on how you'd like to address your.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't have to pay them to do it, we can do it. I didn't know if we were gonna have to pay them to do it.
We got from V-Trans, John Lemieux, there's nothing that would require you to use them for that. The one, other things for site, filling in the hole. Right now, there's fencing all around, and concrete blocks. One thing I'd asked John Little from Stantec to kind of coordinate with.
Whose concrete blocks are they?
That was,
Oh, those are yours, okay, good, so
the
it's
fence,
just,
the fence belongs to Gunwood. That was-
Have a place for
so the one thing that John Little wanted to get a feel from Millbrook on Friday is the fencing. Like, are they in a hurry to get that out of there? My concern would be that they have the right to get that out of there and
It's open.
the town needs to fill it, once from a safety perspective.
Right,
So we need some clarity.
I'm sure it wouldn't take Joey very long to fill, once we're approved to fill it back in to get that done, but we need to make sure we've got approval.
Now, I'm assuming that the floor elevation, that has been lowered, but you're gonna keep it at that
I
elevation.
think so, as long as we can get the runoff to go somewhere, I think we can.
And so the big question I would have for you is eyeballing the material that has been stored on site. Do you feel like you have enough fill
I
on
think
site?
we're gonna be close,
Okay.
yeah, I think we're gonna be close. The only thing I can say with filling that in is I would want some kind of guidance is how we fill in the back wall, the back ditch where it pertains to their well. Something that's gonna be satisfactory to both of us.
Yeah, I was wondering what kind of material is this?
So that's for you to tell me, I guess. I'm thinking,
Well, they said pack it with that clay stuff, and then they a whole different. I don't
I
know.
mentioned that to Dwayne Feely at one point about maybe packing clay, but when we're still talking about building, he was wondering about it, making your water dirty, so.
Leaching by. Well,
I'll
that's,
be putting in whatever come out of there, but right now it's all mixed up at the end, so.
yeah, no. And there's other issues. That's why we're here today.
But that's the thing, is when we do that end especially, I want some kind of guidance from somebody
Yeah.
saying this is the way to do it.
Chevalier or Dwayne probably whatever you feel, comfortable with. We could use either one. But I don't know really how you.
I'd say whoever you're comfortable with, what my
Okay.
feeling would be.
I'd say you could probably put some road fabric in there or something too to break the layers up so it's not gonna, whatever won't seep through. That's not too expensive to throw down in there.
Would Michael have knowledge on this at all? Your brother?
Him or Tyler or Billingsley.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's does wastewater and,
He does.
yeah.
Somebody like that might be worth talking
And
to
they're-
on something like this, just to make sure we do it correct.
Yeah, I think, obviously we can fill a hole and that's no big deal,
Right.
but putting what the best thing to put back in there is, get a better durability, I guess, at least.
Yeah.
And water's funny because
And compacting it or not compacting it, I don't know, maybe they're up, you would think you would want to. We're gonna have to compact the rest of it, the ditch that's on the left side, I think we just put it back in layers and compact it and put a sump down the bottom and just have to pump that water out, chase it down the other end.
Filling, yeah.
But the ditch is towards the well, if you want some guidance on. what in hell, don't know about it.
So,
No, sorry.
so we need motions to get both these things signed, right?
Yes, yeah, that'd be best, that'd be great.
So,
So I'll move that we, sign the letter of intent
I was proposed to them.
between, Millbrook and, the town for CSUF construction, something like that.
do you have a second to that motion?
Second.
Dean second it. Any more discussion? If have none, all those in favor of approving this written order to cease, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Unanimous ayes. As approved. The whole folder?
So I take it or you take it and then we'll make a copy and then certify it?
If I
Certify
can
now?
have you send it, yes.
Oh, sure, no.
That'd be great, and send me a copy.
Actually, I will go. Office and make a copy.
I don't know how much more you want to, bite off for this evening. I don't know if you have a feeling, if you would like Joey, knowing that engineers are gonna be kind of really at a premium right now, with the statewide flood recovery, is if you're okay with Joey reaching right out to Tyler Billings to see if he would be up for that, or if there's something else that if you wanna shop around.
I think the quicker the better.
Yeah.
Personally.
Tyler's doing some other work for us on box culverts.
And that's why I thought that you could have a captive audience and that he would answer your call.
He's got some questions about our project there.
Yeah, I would think, do you need a motion to reach out to him, or do you just good to do it?
I can just do it and see what,
Yeah.
it could be big money for him to give us some kind of guidance here.
Right.
They need a few loads of clay, we could probably find you some.
I do have, speaking of like payback of the grant funds and things like that, been doing some digging. I don't know if you wanna dive into that now or if you wanna,
Yep, bring it on.
you want to do that first, okay. So, in your contract with V-Trans, when you accepted the grant funds, there is, payback provisions, if you don't go to construction. So where you've left things at, my understanding of where you've left things at, from the last meeting is that, you haven't gone and stated that you're not gonna construct the project.
Correct.
You're in an evaluation, understanding that there was not enough field season to get all the questions answered that you needed to get answered. If that changes and, after the dust settles and we figure where things are at, I did dive a little bit into the payback provisions. They're actually referenced in state statute. But there's a process of where the Secretary of Transportation would, make a decision on what the payback would be required. And then there's also an appeal process to the Transportation Board.
For us,
For the town, if the V-Trans would say, you're paying back every penny of federal dollars, yada yada, and the town did not think that that was fair, then there's an appeal process. And there's also, some language in the statute that kind of talks about, and I wish I would have printed it out, but maybe let's get through this first hurdle, let's get the immediate needs settled, let's get the contract with Millbrook canceled, the site's safe, and then regroup and really look at options for 2024 or walking away. But I just want to let you know that it wasn't the payback provisions weren't as crystal clear as I'd been led to believe. I feel like, because there is that appeal process in state statute. As far as like additional funds for this project, it's really bad timing because everybody is now engulfed. I was texting with Representative Walker on Friday, letting him know that it is likely that the town will be reaching out at some point about this project and the Causeway funds and just in general. And because he's on transportation, and we talked about wanting to reach someone on house transportation. So I just gave him an awareness and offered to give him an update on the project again, and that he was going to be looping in your rep.
Penny?
Yes, thank you. So just so you know, trying to keep that end of things updated as well, especially if the town moves into, well, either way, if you're trying to get additional funds through the Causeway money or minimizing the damage from the federal payback.
Those funds are specific to that site. If there was a different site, would those funds still be available?
The Causeway funds are specific.
Well, not just the federal grant money too.
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, they were tied to constructing that salt and sand shed and some of the work was specific because of the site, as far as the archaeological historical, but that's, yeah. You wanna open up that can of worms? We'll go there.
Well, it's just we've tossed it around a few different times to relocate the whole town garage location. And that's also, just moving that, it's cleaning up the river. I mean, that's a good argument to be able to keep them funds to put it in a whole different location. I mean, it's just something to think about.
It's not coming to the village party.
It's, no, you can't, you gotta be centered. You got
absolutely
dirt roads
have to
way
be
over there,
centered.
you're not gonna bring something
No,
over here.
I
And there's not
wouldn't,
enough room here anyway.
no, it wouldn't be here, but I'm gonna go pick the spot out, I already got it.
It's going shopping.
The reason you qualified for funds is because the existing pile was so close to the river. So that, that doesn't change whether you're, building it there or elsewhere.
Right.
So definitely something, the idea of getting all your road equipment out of the, floodplain for future flooding is, there's something to that.
There was a theory at one time that the state was talking about buying that from us, so they could turn it back into a natural state.
Yeah.
It was a 9-year, but I don't think it had any money to back it up.
Well, they do have money for that now because there's some houses along after the bridge down here in town that they're trying to evaluate. They're going on tours, assessing, and then they're gonna buy those and tear them down.
FEMA,
I don't know who's doing that. I've notarized a couple different
I'm sure
documents.
FEMA's gonna be buying quite a few houses, probably, up in the state. Yeah, but anyways.
Yeah. We weren't too many miles away from the storm to make that decision there.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get hit hard up here in the northern
We were
part.
lucky.
Very lucky.
All the flooding we got was mainly from Oldham Mountain that came this way. Well, the Moyle isn't too many miles away. I see what's going on there. We've got 10 days now, the river's been up and over. But anyway, that's another discussion.
So I think it points to that like how do we button up this season and minimize the financial cost to the town, getting that stable, and then when the dust settles.
Yeah.
To that point though, we're gonna have a case where we have an invoice from Stantec, your construction inspector, coming in. We'll get another one before it's over. You're gonna have some cost from Millbrook for the work that they are, eligible for because of the contract. My assumption is that we would treat it as any other, you know, the town pays it and then getting reimbursed from V-Trans. Even though that seems a little funny because the project's not being constructed right now, I don't
This is
see
part
it.
of the project.
This is all part of the project, and so just so you know, I'm anticipating that there'll be pushback from V-Trans on that, but I think it's important that the town does that, because we don't know what next year's bringing, we don't know, you know, what the payback provisions are gonna be, so we're gonna submit all the costs that were eligible under your contract, and then if there's a clawback at some point, deal with it then, is my recommendation.
So you want that.
So part of the process, we need to approve this, Stantec change of order
So
amendment.
that's just changing their contract specifically to Stantec.
No, so this is Stantec's construction inspection. They didn't want to change the money amount, but they wanted to just clarify that their work is changing. So instead of
Scope of work.
working over the next couple of weeks to monitor the project going up, they are working specifically with the contractor on getting their quantities and verifying that last, the last bill that Millbrook would be submitting. They've also been, really getting into the nitty-gritty on how do we close this up, how do we cancel the project.
But we're not looking at 77,000.
No,
No,
Okay.
no, because they
That
already got
should go
50
for,
of it.
yeah.
They're talking about maybe 10 more.
Do we need a motion on that?
Yes, I would assume.
I'll move to accept Stantec's change of work order, or what do you wanna call that?
Stantec amendment number 1.
There we go.
I'll second it.
Dean made a motion, Pierce seconded the motion to accept the Stantec amendment, change order. Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, signify by saying nay. Unanimous ayes, been approved. And now I have to hand copy. So.
and the last thing that I have on my list, just to update you, and then whatever questions you have still. The Chuck from Du Bois King, the president of Du Bois King, emailed me today, just checking in to see if the town has a response to the one letter that they sent in June on what they were offering. So I haven't responded back. I was just going to touch base with your concurrence, just touch base with Ed and get his recommendation on what a response would be.
We'll need a copy of that one too.
She's really good
Oh.
at us.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're,
We can have both signatures on
Yeah,
there.
once
she
they
gets a
sign,
copy of
we're
it.
gonna,
I don't know if we can respond to Du Bois and King until we see what our final things are gonna come in at. That's my opinion.
yeah.
Okay.
But I at least wanted to let you know, because I hadn't heard anything for weeks and weeks, and so it came today, so I just at least wanted to let you know.
So Bethany, do you know if Millbrook Town is, they're gonna, or will we not know until they get this letter and then request what they think? Are they gonna bill us for the unused lumber?
So-
Or just what they, I guess I understand has been put in the wall form?
Look like spruce to
If
me.
those are all.
Pretty yellow.
And then John's already verified.
I didn't look at it close enough.
So if those are our wall forms, I can understand they can't
One
return
that
that.
is not all of it, yeah, there's some, got pressure to screw
They're nailed together or whatever.
Yeah, there should be.
Huh?
There should be on the wall.
Yeah, there's one.
Yeah.
I guess we could purchase it.
And that was one, instead of, kind of assuming what they would want, or would want, what John from Stantec and from John Lemieux from V-Trans had said, let them,
This is the,
come up with that request of
Sure.
what they want. And then, but again,
Yeah, but
I was envisioning all the lumber for the whole thing,
Yeah.
and so,
Everyone's gonna be full.
Oh, okay, those are all individual.
If-
For the walls, I mean, the rafters are different.
yeah, and they could not order the rafters
walls.
because they never got they didn't get to the point where the rafter design
Oh,
was.
that's 8x8, 10x10.
Doesn't look like all of it, but I mean,
But you know what?
they're
It
only
looks
6.5 foot
This is
high
pressure
walls
treated and that's
That's-
not.
right.
on top of 50 feet long.
So, that's the plate.
That's why
Yeah,
those.
that's the plate that's gonna go on your concrete, that's the pressure treated.
Yeah.
Maybe the.
Well,
top.
this one should be the pressure treated, and then from there, they probably put another pressure treated one.
There's 8 panels
But-
stacked up, but
Yeah,
He's definitely not happy, so they show up at office and they're trying. Has anybody looked at the sidewalk? Because the elevator's just been too busy. And he said that he had 4 other projects that were not failure, so he was obviously upset because of that. Yep. So he thanked him for being a nice person and he's
that's why
I'm glad that he was nice to you.
he always has.
I would think the floods created a lot more jobs for them.
Takes them away and then it gets them back.
Right.
Yeah, so you can look.
Okay, so-
Okay, this is right, put these 4 together, that would be the one.
Yeah, that should be, if the things filled in here, yeah, I could see them taking down the fencing and then have some kid go riding around with their bikes
Yep,
Well,
that's,
Go
we
swim
probably
in.
could put up some snow fence ourselves
and,
if
yeah,
they take it down.
just fill in the hole
Do you have
quick.
snow fence you could put up if it comes up?
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
we
the
could buy
concrete
some.
blocks are there, so the fence really probably isn't that important. It kind of keeps people away, it kind of puts up a barrier, but the blocks are, that's what would keep a car from going in there.
trying to take a shortcut.
Right, yeah.
But like if you had some orange snow fence you put up, that would at least alert people that there's
Yeah.
something
and I did verify with John Little that, as far as excavation, that has all been documented on his side, so there's nothing that would stop, the town from filling in the hole, if that's the direction you wanna go. We're not waiting for more measurements or things like that.
Yeah.
I could look back, but for my stuff and the top of your head, we were billed once from Millbrook. Then we had the stop order on this 1st or 2nd of June, so there shouldn't be too many days where we go.
Yeah, and it would be a matter of, again, like the lumber, the things that weren't on that first bid rec. So,
The Phil, they have it leaches, is there any word on that?
I don't know what the deal is there.
Don't ask.
That was between Lucas and Leach.
Yeah,
I don't know.
okay.
We'll probably hear more about that
After this. So you're saying is we don't have to wait until August 2nd to fill in if they wanted to, they could do it sooner?
He's thinking he may have enough fill.
Right there.
that was my understanding, but after we break, I'm just gonna email, John Little, John Lemieux, and CC Joey on that.
Mhm.
Okay. And I did bring this up because it is kind of like a little, right now that site is controlled by Millbrook. They're liable for that site, all the sedimentation, barriers, everything. So how do they leave control of the site? But have the town be able to fill a hole, before they leave and take all their fencing and all those things, so,
I think I want them to sign off on
Yeah.
that before we touch on it.
okay,
Somehow, them to say, yeah, Portlet's gone, we're taking our fence, everything's gone, we're done, it's yours.
It's yours, yeah. I think that's good, and I'll include you on that email, just to confirm that.
Yeah.
Any reasons to have a problem.
It is gonna be. So, really, Florida. I don't want any part of Florida disability.
You guys got something to add, you said?
Yeah, since this project started, now it's triggered a whole nother water waste thing, and the water's coming back bad at the store. We're gonna boil water, order, we have to use bottled water, do coffee. We had another state guy here. Another state guy showed up on,
Have you guys got reports from the state? Have you got any reports from the state? I know Bethany has.
Jesse has all.
okay. Guy checked the well the other day and we had, this one ain't the one I wanted. And he shocked the well, but he did a test on the well again, and he had a probe that as soon as it touched the water, it told how far the water's down. Static level's gone some more, even after this rain. We left the faucet running in the store for 10 minutes and brought the well down 10 feet.
This was the assessment.
And he said if you decided you wanted to put a screen in there, it probably wouldn't work because there's too much dirt falling into the well at that point, and it was all over his probe. So, anyways, that's what he come up with.
I don't know if they want this one. I don't think I have.
This is boiled water. This.
This is,
Where's
I
the
give them one,
where's the one that guy was here on Friday
which
or
one?
Thursday?
I just give them, I give them this one.
Oh yeah. Okay. This is a.
I only see one of that one.
This is an assessment we had to have. The state showed up. We had to do the assessment. Tells you everything that is going on with the well now. Well, 2 wells. So, anyways, you guys have that one too.
These are from June 23rd.
Oh.
These are just stating that the E. coli.
I looked at them. The one with the. No, remember that Jeff, whatever his name is, not Jeff, but the other guy.
Oh, same thing. Mine was in blue.
Yeah.
Are you looking for the one with the guy who did the?
Yeah, that's
Okay, this is the last, this is the one I just got.
Okay. So this is what we have to start doing now. I don't know where you want to start with this. That guy was here on Thursday or Friday, I can't remember what day he was here, but anyway, Thursday. He's the one that did the test on the volume of water coming in the well now, and he did, we shocked it.
Yeah, but which well are we talking about?
By the salt shed.
So he tests volume and he shocked it himself?
Yeah,
The
state did.
came.
the state water,
Well, it's just unusual for them to test volume.
well, not so much, no. Volume in the well, how far it went down, just by running the sink,
But how would he know?
because he has a tester.
Yeah.
He tested it when the water wasn't running, and he tested it 10 minutes after we shut the water off, and it went down 10 feet. So there's,
So he tested volume? Are these papers for us to keep?
Well, see, we don't have his actual report.
he hasn't,
Um,
we were supposed to have it.
I have one
Today,
that
but-
Meredith just sent me. She just sent it to you today too, because you're on there
You
as
have
a
his
CC.
name?
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah.
top.
And they said they sent it to the town too, so I'm not sure if they're sending everything to Sandy Murphy. Because that's where,
So Jeff.
Julian, I think.
Jeff is, yeah, he's in charge of, water, you know.
And we can keep these papers at your
Yeah,
hands?
yeah,
This
yeah.
says Meredith.
Yeah, Meredith is the one I've been talking
Meredith
to.
Maskell.
Yeah, and this guy was the one that was
Oh.
here.
Roland Luxembourg.
Yeah, he was the one that tested it, checked it with a probe. And both wells are the same, static level.
Yeah, the one question I had when, and this is something right before flooding as I was coming back from vacation. One thing with Meredith's report that I had questions about is she was, it didn't seem like she did the measurements, but she was pulling from both the Chevalier and the Feely report. So I guess I was confused about what they actually tested, if the state was testing static level.
She, it wasn't her,
This came from the Chevalier drilling that day, or this is a normal test?
they have been, every 3 years they have to come out and check the wells out. And so she's been out to the site a few times. So she knows how the well was, and it's not the way it is now, by a lot. So anyways, that's that report here. It tells you all the other stuff on it. What's changed since the last time she was here and the time that she was here, about 3 weeks ago, I believe. Should have a date on there. But this is all triggered by a water test. All these papers now, and then coming out.
What's this WSID? As in well identification?
Yeah.
I thought they didn't even know what the identification
There's
was on
two-
that well.
They have 2 wells, they're
There's
talking
two
about 2
Right,
wells.
I mean, 2 different wells, that's why I'm not even.
That's a number for the store.
Oh, that's
WSID number.
the store number.
That's my water number.
Is it this number
Basically, a
here?
license number for the water for public use.
So
21,836.
Just for
Yeah,
clarification,
that's what- yeah,
I'm
386.
you have 2 different wells
Yep.
that furnish the store.
No. Well, no. We could have out back, but that one don't produce enough.
So it's not hooked to the store.
No. The only one that's hooked to the store is the one that is across the road. But the trailer well is on the same vein of gravel at the same depth, and it's the same static level in that right now. So the static levels have gone in the wells. And if it was in bedrock, that'd be a whole different thing, but it's not. In gravel, when you keep taking less resistance, the water changes in the ground, it throws everything off. And that's what's happened.
So the one thing, when I hear what you're saying, the one question I have about the report, are we all looking at the report dated June 23rd, 2023?
Yeah, that's the first one.
Yep, so the one thing I'll just point out, as clarification, because I do think it's confusing, is if you go into the 3rd column, where there's narrative that says issue sanitary defects and descriptions. Letter M, reports from 2 companies dated 5/22/23 and 6/16/2023 documented decreasing static water level and yield in comparison to what was historically documented to the well. So I think it's just an important point that is based on the Chevalier and the Feely well reports,
Right.
and not the state's observation. And I think that, the town, the static water level is documented. I think
After the fact, it
Yep.
should have been done before.
Yep. What's not documented is, this volume, we're talking about historical volume documentation. And it's, just, so we're in agreement. It's supposedly lots of yield, but not measured. So I'm just bringing up these points because I think, down the road, that we're not confused, just so. And sorry to cut you off, I wanted to just point out that piece because I just kind of wanted to get to what is the state testing. And my understanding was that they were focused on the, as far as the coliform, the bacteria, that's their focus.
Yeah, and they come and checked all the other stuff, and everything
Yep.
was the same.
So
as it
this
was.
check was done after
They started.
Chevalier did that check or before?
Yep.
And we should have had, compare, you should have done it before. So then you could have ruled out whether that did anything or not.
Well, I can tell you now that it sucks air. A little bit. Different, before this rain, it was sucking air because it was spitting at the store quite a bit. So, never had that before. And we thought it might be because when they pulled the pump, it could have been air in it, but this is like just before it rained, it started spitting air again. So, I don't believe that's 100% what's going on. So, I know it's pumped. If the house and the store pull water at the same time, it's pulling air. So there's no water. So anyways.
Joey, is the drainage pump still running or not?
No. The bank has slid down and went off that ditch.
The water don't go across anymore. It must go into the ground or something. So before the rain, it was only that little pool and a little bit, and now it's filled up a little bit more, but just because you had a lot of
I
rain.
think it's traveling through a layer of gravel like it did before we did anything. When
Right.
it comes to a certain point, it travels through that same layer.
But anyway, so that's where we're at on that.
With the, did you have any water samples before?
Oh yeah,
All started, they were always good until,
we had, we gotta do a nitrate test because that's gonna tell in the area all them wells that could be affected by this, and I guess somehow they tell by that. We have to do that in the next couple of days. We've had to do 5 more tests, right?
Two more.
No,
Well,
how many
actually,
have we
3
done?
more, it's gonna be
No.
tonight.
How many have we done? We've done like 5.
Yeah, I've done
And they all come back bad. Now we have to do a nitrate test, and the next day we gotta do a water
that.
bacteria test
Twice.
twice to see
So
if,
Wednesday I have to do a nitrate and a bacteria, and then Thursday I have to do another bacteria.
to check and
To
see.
see where.
and this
where
is
it is.
after you've shocked it.
Yeah, they shocked it, and we double shocked it because the unique part of the well is the water runs through the well, so we want to make sure we had plenty of shock in it, and we double shocked it just to make sure. And we'll see how it goes.
So Chevalier did a shock, you know, what I heard from Meredith, you know, after the first hit, because I was like, okay, what's going on? And how it was explained to me, and I didn't get to talk to her in person, but it was explained to me, I'm not sure if it was Jesse or folks that know wells, is that, you know, when you do testing, it will, you know, bring up sediments and things, and so it is practice for people to, you know, shock the well. So the question is whether that first time, you know, wasn't enough. But then it sounds like you did. When did you do?
We had to do one like a
But
week.
Chevalier never shocked the well, right? The person you had test the well, he never shocked it, because you never give me a report of that.
We should check that because if it's standard practice, it should have been done. And I can pull up Chevalier's record.
Probably 2 weeks after Chevalier did
In the
anything.
bills, can you give me that pile?
It should have been fine. 2
We
weeks
had
with
to
the
do
water
the
running through
water
and
test
everything.
right after Chevalier
But
did that.
it's not coming back good at all.
Then, because in the report that you had it said it was chlorinated, the well's not been chlorinated.
So I asked a follow-up question on that because we were like, wait, what? That's not chlorinated. And I can read his answer. And I'll read the answer for. Replied.
He doesn't state it in his bill that he did.
Okay.
Are there numbers anywhere saying what the levels were, or they're just saying they're high?
There's been so many reports come from the state, so that you could be confused on some of them. Some of them are repeated.
But
It's parts per million or something, so many, I can't remember what it said, but it was way out of whack. And then, of course, then the state's, on their back about it.
Do some of your reports have the actual parts per million on them? Not just saying it's high? It's like this says just as.
It's just,
Over the limit.
Yeah.
well, we don't know what that is.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not looking at anything here that says,
you can dive in and actually see what happens. I wanted to finish the follow-up
Yeah.
question about.
Chlorination.
So at your select board meeting on June 19th, the town asked chlorinated well, like, it's not a chlorinated well, what are you talking about? What Chevalier has responded back is, the well is not full-time chlorinated. We did chlorinate the well after we were done the pump test, and that is standard operating procedure.
Okay, so there's something else going on there.
So, I mean, that is what they said. Billy Joe, I forwarded that to you, if you want to distribute that out, but. So, but my understanding was, so Chevalier says that they chlorinated after doing the test, that's what they're saying. Do you know when you said you did a shock twice?
No, we double shocked it because the water
Double
runs through it so fast. We wanted to make sure it
Yeah.
was clear. And we did that last Thursday, and we're supposed to start doing water tests on Wednesday.
Okay, so last Thursday would be the, and Larry, feel free to cut me off, I'm just trying to get this information out there.
Yeah, I don't have enough numbers in front of me, history and stuff to know.
And the thing is, how long does a chlorination last?
Well, until you can't smell it, I gotta take it down to Bates and have it tested.
Yeah, but
To
are
see-
we talking
Well, it don't last, you can't have it.
days?
Yeah, days.
4 days, 3 days?
Well, more than that, because it's been since Thursday and you can still smell it in the house. So hopefully,
You still can.
yeah, hopefully by Wednesday it'll be cleared up. I gotta take it down, make sure there's no chlorination in it, because they won't test the water. So hopefully it is, because that's when they want us to test it again.
Okay. And so just looking at this report, so you double chlorinated on you said
Thursday.
on Thursday, which would be July 13th.
Yep.
The test results that I'm seeing are, June 19th, June 21st. Yeah, 3 on June 21st. So I guess the question is, how soon will you have the next water test back to see if that took
Thursday.
Thursday?
If the chlorination is gone out of the water.
Yeah.
You can't do it without chlorination in the water. But then there's 2 other tests after that we have to do.
And, and I see that you've had, is it coliform or E. coli that you've had
Both.
in 2022 and 2014?
Yeah. It's,
Do those just respond well to that chlorination, or
no,
was
we
that?
didn't. No, we didn't chlorinate it because she did it wrong. She touched it or something, and it throws it off.
Okay,
But that's the next test was fine.
okay.
But with the stores never had E. coli.
It had a bacteria by down.
So it would be the coliform. Is that what
There's
I'm
never
looking
had
at?
this high bacteria that comes down.
It's because she touched it wrong or something. And the next test was fine.
But because of the E. coli, now I have to do every month a water test. So, which has always been on quarterly.
It's just odd that you're getting E. coli, something, how did that get contaminated in there? How did E. coli get in there? I mean,
Changing the water in the ground changes a lot of stuff.
no, I mean, E. coli usually comes from sewers or dairies or, it's fed in there somehow and all they did was bubbled it and they didn't put anything else in there, they just dropped some water out and so you stirred the gravel up down the bottom, or maybe there was some on the casing or something, I don't know.
Well, that's what,
So maybe that's what needs to be killed, is whatever got disturbed on the casing.
But if Chevalier shocked it, we shouldn't have got a bad water test.
Or if they tested it with it shocked, it was incomplete, could have been.
Well, one of the concerns too, Tim, with Chevalier is they weren't 100. What did you shock with? Did you shock with liquid?
No, it was
The pucks.
it was a crystal, and they put it in the water to make sure it covered everything.
They were thinking that we used to sell at Bates years ago, like we called them pucks.
Yeah.
They were about this big.
Yeah.
And they were thinking that's what Chevalier's might have shocked with. Because what happens is what you use with the crystals, you get instantaneous chlorination. Where those guys there take, it's just like a pool puck, it sits in there, it's gotta break down, and there just wasn't enough time for it to break down and chlorinate.
Kill it out. Because to me, I don't know where else that would be coming from, rather than a structure that could disturb, which would have been a steel casing. It's still the same aquifer that's been there forever. And that's the only thing that would have disturbed it in that area, was something that's growing on the outside edge that might have been above the water level, but the way it got cleaned out might have flushed it in and out. I don't know.
I have no idea what happened, but something happened.
I'm not a water expert either.
But it did change the water levels and stuff, so I don't know if it changed the whole aquifer or what it did, but it's something definitely changed.
So does the one behind the trailer, that one goes to the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Have they tested that one?
I haven't tested that one. I figured that one was uphill enough it wouldn't bother, but I don't know. It's hard to tell if depending on the ground. Like, we're probably gonna have to test that one. You know, test them all around there. But
Can they CC us the results? CC village.
well, they should. They should be.
Are
They should. They haven't got anything. Did Sandy get it? Because
I asked her.
she didn't get it. Oh, she didn't get it. Yeah, we can.
I think it's an important point of whether, because the well, you know, it's on town property, so I think being CC'd on all of that. And so you tested on Thursday?
No.
No.
We shocked it on
shocked it on
Thursday.
Shocked on Thursday, and you would test again as long as the chlorine's not too high.
Can't have any chlorine.
Well,
But Wednesday.
after the chlorine's flushed, then we test it
But they're-
to see
they
how
want
it
us-
comes out.
They want us to do it Wednesday, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to. We gotta have it tested, the water tested.
Will you take the test and then where do you take this sample?
It has to go to Burlington.
You drive it to Burlington?
But the original one, you said a person came up,
No,
no?
we have to do them ourselves. We have to take them down.
So the
But-
state,
But
the
there was
state
more
has
than
the-
one. There was more than one test on it that didn't come back right. So that's why, if one test comes back bad, the next test is okay. But if you have consistent test bad, then they go through all this.
So you're testing yourself, the state people don't come up to test
Nope.
at all?
Nope.
But this Jeff person came up to
No,
do something?
no. Jeff is the guy I've been talking to about what to do, how to do it, and that stuff. The other guy,
Yeah, Roland.
Roland, yeah.
On
he came up, physically looked at it, checked it out, measured it, turned the water on, shocked it, got the bleach, into the lines, all through the house, the store and everything, and put it all back together and left. That's Jeff.
So when, I was just curious because you think that it's affecting both wells, when you shocked down one well, can you smell bleach in the trailer water?
Well, I don't believe so because the water's running out the hole down to the bottom, so I don't think the water's gonna go backwards on it.
So one thing, just because time has been going, I'm losing track of time, so just to orient folks, that, just to be clear, that the Chevalier did the well test on June 16th. The results that are showing of concern are June 19th, the collection date was June 19th and June 21st.
That's when the static level dropped more.
Yeah, I did the first one June 19th.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get the.
Now, if we had the
maybe wanted it the next day.
If we had the report from this guy, it went down some more. It's dropped some more.
And that's, you're pulling these collections from inside the store?
For the water test, yes. It has to be done from, well, you have to do all three sinks now. Can't do just one.
So best case, if you can test on, they were wanting you to do Wednesday, but you're thinking Thursday is
Well-
probably maybe?
I don't know. If it's good Wednesday, we take it down. Thursday, we should have it pretty soon.
I'm saying, say that last part.
We should have the results back by Thursday. If
Okay.
Wednesday we can do it, right?
Maybe,
Yeah,
depending what time I get them down there on Wednesday. Sometimes they come back the next day, sometimes they come back the day after.
So
So we can't wait for the results. Gonna do Wednesday because Thursday morning the next test goes down. So, and then we'll get everything back.
So we got to do three different tests this week. Nitrates to check to see what it's affected, and then we have to do 2 water tests back to back.
Is it one total sample or 3 samples?
Well, it'd be a nitrate and 2.
No, I mean, when you're pulling the water samples, you said 3
Well-
different sources.
We have to when it comes back bad, we have to do all 3 sinks. This one, I think we only have to do 1 sink, right?
What's up?
We only do 1 sink, right? This time.
I did one time.
This time, Wednesday and Thursday, we do 1 test. It'd be nitrate.
Bacteria.
Yeah, I know.
Down on a nitrate.
Yeah, nitrate and 2, but from one the kitchen sink. That's number 1 site, and then it's the hand wash and then the bathroom.
So depending if these tests
Yes,
come
people
back
should
bad,
drinking from the bathroom, hopefully.
so
Well,
So,
the bikers,
I
you'd be
know.
surprised.
maybe we put a sign, please don't drink
Well, no,
water.
we had no.
Here.
The state made us put one in the
Yeah.
bathroom because you're
Yeah.
not supposed to.
Yeah.
Even if it was good, I still question it.
But that they do. They bikers.
Oh yeah.
The state don't make no money on bikes. They come in, they fill their water bottle, and they leave.
oh, those I was thinking.
Oh,
Big
Yeah.
bikers, the
No.
smaller bikers. I got you. Gotcha. Yeah.
And it looks like the last time, you know, I hear that you're having to do nitrate now. The last time that nitrate was done was December 20th, 2022. That's what they have. Does that sound about right?
We do so many tests. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what they're saying, that the last time nitrates were done. So you did December and then February.
for the nitrate.
Yeah, does that make sense with your schedule?
Yeah, I do,
So about-
I do nitrate once a year.
Yeah,
Usually
okay.
I do them in December.
Yeah.
Every December I do nitrate, I do bacteria every 3 months. I even did arsenic and another one, I think that was in January,
Combined uranium.
uranium.
Yeah.
Yeah, they make us do a lot of stuff because of public water. And I thought it was just a screw up when we first got the bad tests back, but then they just kept coming back bad.
Hopefully this shock took care of it.
Yeah, I know it's a pain in the ass with bottled water.
Yeah. But if they can definitely CC
Yeah.
P.E.G or whatever.
I'll mention it to them. I gotta call them anyway tomorrow, and I'll have them. Any information, I'll have them CC out.
Or I wonder, could you reach out to them, BJ, just to make sure they have your,
Yeah,
to make,
I will.
And I'm emailing Meredith Masco right now with UCC, just making that request.
yeah,
Just to kind of, hopefully that will close the loop there.
yeah, good.
And then now you'll get the report from Roland there. Which we were hoping to have today, but it didn't happen. And I had him come out. I could have shocked him myself, but I wanted him to come out and look at the situation so he knew how much to put in. I didn't want to, say, well, I put this much in, and it didn't work. I wanted him because he does this all the time.
That's good.
Yeah, let's hope that, in my mind, it's so soon after values were in there, it had to come off. I find it hard to believe that the water down below would have produced E. coli. Had to be a source, falling down into it, moving.
Yeah.
If you gotta steal something, steel. And it's not always in water, and it grows up and in, and then that stuff falls down in there.
Yeah.
That's what
And
it needs to get cleaned up. But
Yeah, and it could have happened. I have no idea. All I know is testing coming back good now.
yeah.
That June 21st or 3rd or whatever it is that the last one? Your last water sample?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay.
You can't renew.
I still want to charge truck over the water.
Oh, yeah. You wouldn't. You have no idea when you're going to start filling it in.
Not till August, at least.
We gotta get this construction outfit to sign off to say
Okay, we're good.
they're not. If something happens before they sign off,
Yeah.
something bad, who knows? They might blame it on us or them. So it's like, we get them signed off, and Joey he'll take care of it. So and we'll have it. In the meantime, we'll have that engineer
Yeah, I emailed them just now.
Hopefully we can
check into that to know as soon as as soon as we get the green light, you know, we can take care of that.
Well, just because doing water tests, we don't know how it's gonna change things and trying to get past this part.
Yeah. 'Cause I don't know how you can fill that. And he may have a process that might work
Yeah, you may have some
without
suggestions.
disturbing a lot of the water and stuff. The big sleeve down in
I
there.
suppose it's possible it's not his cup of tea, and he's gonna not wanna offer guidance, but we'll find out.
Okay.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, like I said, we'll keep us in the loop with the, you know, we're CC'd with all the results here and.
Okay, get it straightened out.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you dismissing me?
Yeah. You got plenty of more important things with.
No, I was just gonna continue emails in the corner, because if I go home, I won't do anything, so. So I'm just getting that email out to Meredith right now, from drinking water, just so you're gonna be getting a copy directly.
Okay.
Sent anyway, that's out.
Yeah. I'll wait. You got some stuff, Joey?
Yeah.
I see your hands are full.
Yeah.
Probably not as bad as what the rest of the state's been dealing with, though.
No,
I see a few flags here and there.
no, we're good, I mean,
I'll be here, just.
we don't have anything to, yeah, we've had to do some grading, a couple loads of gravel, here and there, but pretty lucky compared to the rest of the state.
Yeah.
Bethany, we're still here, so.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Grants and aid for 23, there's somebody different, I
Yes,
see, that I gotta get in touch with.
yes, and I'll write out her email,
Okay.
Maddie Yandell.
Yeah, I saw her email somewhere, said that if you hadn't gotten a hold of anybody to
Yep.
pick out your spots, then, yeah.
And she's great, we plucked her from, the consulting engineering world.
Yeah.
She's gonna be great for us.
So that's the first thing I've got is signing the contract between the state of Vermont and the town of Enosburgh for grants and aid, for the grants and aid work for next year, fiscal year 24.
Proof of loss.
Oh, that's for the offer.
So it's just a generic contract between
A lot of dollars there. I want.
16 pages,
Yeah,
but
oh, it's under the
almost
red
same.
folder. That's Garrett's.
I got it right here if you want.
Wait a minute. We got one more thing here.
You're always saying.
I know, I don't have it.
No, those are just letters of interest.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I just.
So this is grants and aid work for fiscal year 24. We're eligible, the award amount of up to $27,500.
Oh, yeah. Is this one? Didn't completely lose my marbles. There you go, Larry.
So if you wanna,
Just misplaced them.
yeah, if you want to do it, just
You brought it.
Up on overload.
It's Monday or something. Yeah.
that's
Been a long
the
week.
letter of intent to sign to that.
We've been having a
Paper.
rough few weeks, a new assessor.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Some days I don't even know which way
I don't
direct
The
it.
base
Yeah,
offer showed
so
24,000 when they sent us the letter of intent to sign, but
27.5.
apparently there was more money, or the towns, some towns didn't apply or
That was probably pre-flood.
Yeah, so we better hurry up and sign it.
Yeah, this is,
Yeah, so match in kind is 68.7.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
27.5 was what it was.
She jumped, she thought you were straight. I was like, oh my gosh. I've seen you fall, so I just swing.
Look out. Look out.
From where I came
So this is pretty much just standard.
Yeah, we're all the
grant language.
I don't know, I've never read all of them completely.
So we got Joey's highway V-Trans grant aid here. Need a motion to accept.
Another copy here if you want
I'll move
to see it.
that we accept.
Actually, let me get it back in order, this is the copy.
Here's your number.
Grant agreement GA 0539.
There we go. Do I have a second? Peter made a motion.
I'll second.
Just second the motion. Any more discussion? I have none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Unanimous ayes.
It's pretty standard. I think I
You
read.
approve it?
They're all
Yeah.
got the same kind of language,
Yeah.
just the important part is this page here, when we sign and then they'll sign it. When they sign it, then it's executed grant agreement, then at that point, and this dollar amount is what you're eligible to receive. You gotta contribute $68.75, which are equipment and labor
Mhm.
go towards it, so. And the rest is just pretty much common.
Yeah, just the regular.
Yeah. The rest of the V-Trans, you taking it or her?
Oh, he's taking it.
Send the signature page back to them, and they'll sign it and send it back to us, and then it'll be official. That's that. So, with that Halloween storm and the flood disaster, we were 4474 before that's the one before the windstorm last December. We had, we got one more project left to complete on that, and it's the bridge. It's a bridge on Nichols Road at the foot of the hill by just below Corsa Road, the concrete bridge. Needs some work done to the abutment. So that was in October of 2019. The summer of 20, couldn't get anybody to even show interest in looking at it to do any of the work. So I got an extension into the July of 21 to do some work, and then in 21 I couldn't get anybody to do the work until got a Tim Parent was a guy that some FEMA guy or state guy gave me this contact that said that they do like swimming pool type concrete. They said maybe they would be able to do this gunite coating, so finally got them on board, but they didn't have time last fall, so I got another extension till October 1st of this year. So he came up this spring, looked at it, sent me a price, and they're a ways away, they're in Heinsberg, and they're busy.
Yeah.
So the price is pretty expensive, $24,625. We only got $4,800 or $5,000, something like that from FEMA for like a $6,000 project. But I was told that you don't want them to come back and reevaluate that, because if they come back and reevaluate that one project, they're gonna do an audit on all the projects, and it's a real pain in the rear end. So you could potentially have to pay them back money or something if they fail or something, because they didn't line up, so. They recommended that you don't try to do that, so we didn't get much money to fix this thing, but, so I had Mark Cody go and look at it again, because he had already looked at it with me once and pretty much said that he thought we'd be wasting our money to do anything. But, so we gotta do something, or else we gotta pay FEMA back the money that they gave us already to put towards it, and I don't think we wanna do that either, so.
How much did they give us towards it?
Like $5,000.
And what needs to be done?
The abutment needs to be
Skim coated?
refaced, yeah.
What are you doing this weekend, Peter?
We?
So Cody's come up with that, and they gave me a price of $12,350, and that's to, we'd be doing some of the work, which is fine. There's some loose concrete we're moving at. Might have to get permits or whatever to be in the roof. Detour any water if it needs be, because it sits on ledge, so I don't think there's gonna be too much of any work in the water. So that's to encase the downstream wind wall closest to the east Enosburgh end with no concrete and rebar. So it's basically just ripping off the chunk that's loose, it's on top, that did fall off from the Halloween storm, and then they'll form up, put rebar and reface the abutment to it. Get something out of it, some strength. So. I don't know if we got much choice but to do something with it, so.
Well,
So
they're,
you recommending the below 30?
Yeah.
they're high,
Half the price,
Half the
yeah.
price. Yeah.
and they can do it, they can do it, but you still need
Yeah.
extension for it, or?
Well, I'm hoping they can do it right off before October 1st, and it'll be done and over with. And then once that project's done, we'll get more money from the state for the ERAF share of it. We've been paid for the federal, we ended up getting 90% from them because with COVID, I think they bumped it up. Yeah, they did. Bumped it up to 90%, so we'll get like another 5% from the state. Normally it's 75 from the FEMA, and then you'll get 12.5 from the state, but because FEMA went to 90%, the state's going to contribute 5. So, once this project's done, and then put in the administrative, there's a whole different project for administrative work. Once that's in, and then we'll get the ERAF share, which I'm not really sure, I think it's $10,000 to $12,000 worth that we'll be getting, so. So I guess that's the choice. I don't think I can get anybody else that would be interested in giving me a price for good work, so.
Especially now
Right.
with the floods we
Yeah.
just had.
Alright,
Definitely, yeah,
Yeah,
say
hopefully-
Cody's gonna
hopefully
do
these
it.
guys can even be able to do it,
Right,
but if not, I can request another extension for another year probably.
and it might be granted because of it this time.
Right, it just drags it down the road,
It
that's
does.
all. It'll be cheaper,
Yeah.
so I guess if that's your choice, is to
Yeah, I think we're all
get them on board.
unanimous on
Yeah.
having Cody doing it. They can.
There's parents underneath there, and really, he's kind of a guy from the state recommended, so I'll try getting hold, or he actually says, try getting hold of somebody that does gunning coating, which is, I didn't really know what that was, it was like what you do on swimming. So I Googled it, and I got this name that come up. Of course, they were really busy, couldn't come up there last year. They were willing to help us out, but they said, I just don't have the time to do it. So I got the extension, and then he came up this spring. I don't think they're real excited on doing it because they're busy and they're ways away. And it'll cost them something to mobilize up here.
Yeah.
So, and it sounded kind of expensive, so that's when I called Mark Cody up. So I know you said that you looked at it, thought we were just wasting our money, but we gotta do something, so we're taking a look at it. So that's what he came up with.
Wow.
He was the only one that ever come and looked at it, other than that parent came in the spring, he come up one day, I guess, and looked at it. But before, he was the only one, everybody else is busy. C-Card, actually the C-Card did look at it because he was right there that year, so he did take a look at it, but I don't think they gave us a price on it, I don't think they did. So, you know, it's just, we're too busy.
Yeah. What else you got?
Got some issues with a family with their ATVs.
Is there somebody in this room who we need to?
If we, I can mention names, but
No,
I don't know if you want me
the
to.
camera's on, so that's what I was just saying, do we
So I
want
don't
to
bother.
executive? I was trying to joke.
Maybe we should, yeah,
We probably.
yeah.
So I don't know if you want. I don't guess I don't have to mention names.
No.
It's been an ongoing problem for a while.
I'll move.
Yeah, and I'll second.
To go on executive?
Yeah.
Pierre made a motion and
We just,
Jeff
as